All right, after dropping it from the original health care overhaul because of fierce opposition, the Obama administration quietly reintroduced a plan that would mandate end-of-life planning assistance, which some people call death panels. Is this just backdoor politics? Our Radio Rumble here to rumble. They're talking about what America thinks and told them. We have talk show host Ben Ferguson here, Nancy Skinner, and Dom Giordano. Welcome to all of you. First things first, Ben, what's your reaction to this end-of-life consultation that is now in the health care, in Obamacare?
Well, the American people didn't want it, first and foremost. And the other thing is, most people know that for the math to work with Obamacare, people have to die at a younger age because end-of-life care is what's the most expensive. So this administration's looking at the math going, hey, look, we got earlier. We don't need to extend their life as long because otherwise we can't afford to pay for it. So that's exactly what's happening. They said, hey, we don't care what the American people think. We're going to do it anyway, even though they didn't want it the first time.
Nancy, a lot of people think this is heading towards rationing. Telling people their options, not offensive. Telling people what they can have could be offensive. Mm-hmm. Right, Nancy?
We need to put an end to the end-of-life myth, or else we could talk about Filegate or Vince Foster or something like this. This is, Ben, this is not mandated. This says, and I was a hospice volunteer for many years, and this says if you want your doctor to give you an advance directive, in other words, you do estate planning, you do a living will, you give an advance directive that says how aggressive do you want the end-of-life, your end-of-life treatment to be? Do you want to be like Terry Schiavo on a machine for 10 years or not? And Medicare will pay for it if you choose.
Hey, can I get in on this? Hey, Brian, Nancy. Nancy, you know what? Nancy, I'm glad, Nancy. I'm glad that you brought up Terry Schiavo because I supported Terry Schiavo and your parents, and it shows your attitude right here on Fox and Friends, what people are afraid of, this attitude of cavalierly throwing aside Terry Schiavo. Blumenauer, the guy from Oregon who is the architect of this, told supporters, Nancy and everyone, that we shouldn't tout this, we shouldn't celebrate it. Why? If this is such a good proposal, why does he want to go quiet?
Dom, that's probably the strongest argument.
If you don't give them any advanced planning, you will be a Terry Schiavo.
Hold it. That's probably the strongest argument for people to fear it is the fact that they wanted to keep it quiet. Now I want to move to another topic. Robert Gibbs, Sunday, talked about possible changes within the Obama cabinet. Listen.
I don't expect, quite honestly, big changes. I think we've had a very capable and good cabinet that has helped move the president's agenda forward. I think there's obviously a lot that has to be done at Treasury to implement financial reform, at HHS to implement health care reform, and I think we have a very talented team.
All right, we're going to stay pat. Well, what are the people telling you? Let's begin with you, Ben. Can we? Let me know what your listeners are saying. Who should be in, who should be out?
Yeah, I mean, the majority of the listeners say doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity. And that's exactly what this administration has done. They said, hey, we don't think there's a problem, or even if we do think there's a problem, we think the people in charge that have been doing a bad job should stay and continue to do a bad job. The American people want change from this president for once. And that means new ideas and new people that actually understand business and the economy. None of his cabinet does that or understands it.
Well, you have Larry Summers who says, I'm leaving as soon as you get me a replacement. Axelrod's going to Chicago. Robert Gibbs, what do you think, Nance?
I'm not sure if he's ready to move on to a different position. But
well,
Rahm
what do you think? What are your listeners saying? What are your listeners saying?
They're saying, they're glad Rahm Emanuel's gone. That cursing law will not be in place in Chicago if Rahm is the mayor of Chicago. I guarantee you that. But you know what? I think what I hear from listeners is in the financial department, we need people that create jobs, entrepreneurs, not the traders, not the Wall Street, Larry Summers kind of guys. We need the Dan Gilberts.
That's
that
all
built
this president's surrounded with.
Like Quicken Loans and that know how to build
Brian,
companies.
I would say the three musketeers that my listeners want to go, Tim Geithner, Eric Holder, and the #1 with just a tremendous surge, Janet Napolitano. She's become the face of outrage among my listeners.
All right, good polling. Dom Giordano, Nancy Skinner, Ben Ferguson, thanks for a fiery three-headed debate. Good job.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right, we move ahead to the second hour. If government spending